You guys, welcome back to my testimony walks, okay? Where I've just been pouring out the truth, and honestly, it feels so good to just let this out. I've said a lot of this before, and that's what's like, I don't care that my channels keep getting banned because I know that, the actions that are taken to keep me silent are being documented in some way, shape, or form, right? I shared specifically about just a time where I was taking my ex's Vyvanse, like one a day for a few days, unbeknownst to him. And it was right before I had gotten my own prescription of that, which again, all of that was just left behind in 2021. And again, if anybody else is struggling with substance abuse, you gotta cleanse for parasites first. The parasites are telling you that you want that stuff, you know what I mean? And then you really got to cleanse your gut, because your gut is essentially your brain. So when you're abusing substances, it's tearing up your gut, which is making you feel like you can't think, leaving you dependent on the substance. 111. And if anybody wants to book a reading with my health and wellness stack, just let a bitch know, okay? And it's like, at the time, I wasn't choosing to identify as a trash bag, but I was fully aware that I was participating in said trash bag behavior, right? And also too, just to clear the air, that was just the once and only time I had ever done anything like that. So if anything else was said, because I just feel called to say that because I feel like that mistake was just fabricated beyond measure, right? 144 on the clock. And then just being tricked into moving in with an old coworker and her just using her sugar baby Masonic connections, right, to really amp up the gang stalking to a point where it actually calmed me down because of how much chaos was just unfolding around me, right? And I feel like she probably tried to say the same things just because she always would offer her schmatteralls, you know what I mean, to me, and I feel like it's because they were legit bath salts. And like when I think back on that mistake with my ex, it's honestly, at the time, I just felt like that was something to completely sabotage the connection, right? And what really opened my eyes was, weeks down the road, months, when he called me out over text message, like he was still like semi-flirty over text, right? He knew what I did, never called me out on it. And then it was like either when I ignored him or I said something, then he decided to call me out on it. And it's like, bro, if you were a real one, obviously you would have fucking called me out on it. But for me, it's like knowing that you like someone way more than they like you. And then it was before I had realized that he was like shrugging me in my toe, like injecting stuff in my toe. But I was just contemplating for the longest time that my drinks were being shrugged because, again, like abusing Schmatterall, it was only when I was with him that it's like I was like a slob kebab. And it was something for him to like point out at me and like pick a fight over, like, oh, you always get so sloppy. Like, why can we never have just like one or two drinks? Like, and I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? And he's like, it's always like, you always have to have a bunch of drinks. And I'm like, no, it's not just one or two. I'm like, it's like, I like having 4 or 5. And like, because obviously when you're taking Schmatterall, it's just something to like, for a smooth commercial landing. Makes me think of the cops on Superbad, you little pussy. No, but it's funny to joke about this just for me because I don't drink anymore. And like over the years I've had, a drink on a work trip, another work trip that was like, I think like a year or however many months after that one, I had 2 drinks, you know what I mean? Like I just don't feel the need to drink. But I like to myself, I'm like, oh, I could always leave it in the future if I ever wanted to. You know what I mean? It's just like no pressure, whatever. But I will say, guys, I don't like how I feel when I have a drink because it's just like that's the number one way to literally lower your vibration. You know what I'm saying? It's not a smart option when you know that you're being spiritually attacked. When you have people that are, doing their weird ass shit, trying to send whatever just whatever bullshit witchcraft that they do, it's you're lowering your frequency to like make those attacks hit you, you know, like you're susceptible to feeling what's the same as eating like junk food, you know what I'm saying, that's doing absolutely nothing for you, and it's just, again, lowering your vibration. But also at the same time, it's like we're humans, so if like anybody were to obviously, you know, want to treat yourself and eat something like junk food or have a drink, it's like just amp up the spiritual hygiene, you know, light some sage or palo santo, pray, just take some actions before that, because again, you never know who's preying on you unbeknownst to you. Somebody could see you at the grocery store. I feel like I say this all the time. Somebody could see you at the grocery store and low-key admire you but feel jealous, and they could just, you know what I mean, do any sort of bullshit witchcraft on you. It's fucking crazy. Does anybody else feel like just a walking contradiction sometimes? Because I just watched that back and I'm thinking to myself, like, no, bitch, like, you shouldn't have any drinks in the future. Like, it's just, I don't know. You know, I think if I ever do get married again someday or just want to have like a glass of champagne, I don't know. You know, none of, and guys, whatever. What I mean is no judgment, but alcohol is absolutely horrendous for the human body by design, right? So it's like, whatever, I'm done talking about it. But I will say I do really enjoy this, what feels like a geriatric lifestyle, in the sense that, you know, just living sober. It's like, I laugh because it's like boring, you know, and it's obviously just trying to survive. But it's like, as the days get harder, I don't know, I just like being sober, and I go to bed really early. And I think back to, you know, when I moved out of my apartment with the roommate that I got tricked into moving into, right? My dad was like, you need to come move in with us, whatever. And then my stepmom a month later was like, I think it's best if you live with your mom. And I just felt like such a loser, you guys. Like, I literally just turned 30 and people were deliberately taking actions to make sure that I wasn't making any money. Like, when I still worked at Wooden Tap in Enfield, like, my section was always, it was like equivalent to a tumbleweed, just fucking farting around in there. And tables that I did actually get were people that were sent in. So what does that tell me? That indicates to me that the host is in on it. And just trying to elaborate on that, again, I'm gonna sound crazy to people who aren't privy to this shit. But basically, my money was being fucked with. I ended up quitting that job, and I was working as a mover, you know, working for my uncle and living with my mom. And it was basically my everyday routine, you guys, literally for over 3 years. I'd get up for work. I literally would pack all of my products with me because I couldn't leave anything behind. Because again, in the gang stalking program, people are paid off to get a key of your apartment, your car, whatever, and they tamper with all your stuff because they want you to look like the false narratives that they're telling everybody. So after, you know, living with that roommate, like, there was pee in my face wash, my makeup made my whole face burn, and I continuously just had to throw things away and rebuy them. So it's like, what the actual fuck? So I literally brought everything with me everywhere that I went. If I had any open food. So it's like, again, like, take that into consideration. That's literally why I fucking pieced and just left everything behind, because I was slowly being tortured and trying to speak up about it. It's like nobody believed me because they were paid to be quiet. But right before, like, basically what I was going to say before I just exploded with that was just, you know, when I was living with my mom, I was going to the dispensary like every day. I would go to the grocery store every day to get, you know, my dinner, and that was just my routine. Like, the gym super early in the morning, work, dispensary, grocery store, go to bed by 7:30. I was waking up at like 2:30 to get to the gym by like 3, a little after, because I wanted to meet all the gang stalkers. It's like, bitch, if you're gonna gang stalk me and receive compensation to fucking follow me, you better get up and work for it, bitch.